everyone. Welcome to the first chat in the Humans of RippleX. My name is Andrew, and I am the host of this video series. I have here today Godwin Chan, and Godwin, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here, and congratulations on launching this initiative.
Yeah, I think it's going to be super fun. So yeah, please could you introduce yourself? Are you a founder, aspiring VC? What's your passions?
Sure. Yeah, great question. I'll try to keep it as short as possible because I could go on for a long time. So I'm Godwin, obviously, from the Toronto area here in Canada. I do a few things these days. So I'm currently in pharmacy school at the University of Toronto. I am helping a pharmacy tech startup with their marketing and client relations, and then also at a student-run venture capital firm here in Canada, helping out with gaining revenue. And so I also host a podcast as well, and I'm part of a whole bunch of different fellowships, of which RippleX is one. Right. So, all great kinds of things that I'm involved in. Of course, I'm super interested in both, the VC side of things, investing, and then also on the operating side, as in founding companies as well.
Is there a specific industry that you're interested in investing or building in?
Yeah, great question. So because healthcare is massive, right? So there's a lot of different areas and niches. For me in particular, definitely pharmacy is one. That is my background and kind of my area. Haven't been ruled out biotech either, like especially in drug discovery. That is always a constantly needed problem, like all the time, right? Just in terms of how can we make it more efficient, how can we reduce costs in that in that procedure or that process, and then also having greater amount of innovation and just drug discovery really to help treat a lot of conditions, things like that, especially for neurodegenerative diseases. That's an area of personal interest, like Alzheimer's and dementia, Parkinson's, that type of thing. It's very notoriously hard to come up with drugs that cross the blood-brain barrier in general, right? Because body just has natural defenses against letting in a lot of substances into the brain. So that's always been a tricky problem. And then
so I'm curious to understand like your motivation to join the RippleX Fellowship. I know you're wanting that more aspiring VC and kind of investors knowledge, but could you just tell me briefly what brought you to the RippleX Fellowship?
Sure, great question. So Dominic, we've actually been connected on LinkedIn for like a couple of years now. I don't actually remember how we connected in the first place, but we did, right? Somehow. And so I was like, I was pleasantly surprised, to find him. Hey, he leading this fellowship. I was like, okay, great. Let's do this thing, right? So submitted it, and had a couple of interviews that we had, right. And so now we're here, right, in the RippleX Fellowship. For me, just coming in here, joining all these different fellowships is great because A, you get to learn a lot, but B, also you get to meet a lot of cool people. Like that's just it's fun, right? And so this one, of course, we have I think a more even split between Canadian and US people, which is great. Learn a lot of just cross-border and interactions and things like that, right? Because contrary to popular belief, Canada and the US are different countries.
They are.
Let you know.
The VC ecosystem is very different as well,
right?
Yeah, size the VC and focus.
Ecosystem as well. Yeah, because the magnitude of investment dollars is just not even comparable. Like the US is just 1 to 2, like at least 1 to 3, like magnitudes 1 to greater, right, than Canada. It's just, it is what it is, because the US practically basically invented VC in the 1970s, right? So as an asset class specifically. So lots of great learnings, of course, and lots of great conversations like this one. And of course, being a part of the continuous community afterwards, like for example, I'm still connected with the folks over at Gen Z Scouts, and then also, connected with a lot of folks at Frontal Ventures too, right? So my hope is that the RippleX community will be the same way.
Yep.
So we'll always, be there, help support each other, and all the great new endeavors that we, do, right? And I mean, my specific hope really is that, for for the founders and VCs, like I'd be so overjoyed if I am able to like invest in other fellow RippleX like fellows. I think that's really cool. Like in the future, hopefully.
Yeah. And as we kind of discussed earlier, before our interview here, VC is all about these relationships and connections and the people you know. That's really your strength and your kind of like strength in this space. And I think all of these programs, all these funds are able to give us that and give us like allies within this space to really speak and learn from. So I think that's great. And it's been a pleasure to like speak with you and all the other fellows with the RippleX Fellowship. And, I'm really hoping like great conversations like these will happen like more frequently. And just to kind of wrap up our conversation here, I'm just curious, where do you see yourself in 5 years, let's say? The typical question.
That's always a very tricky question for me, just because. So in my younger years, I was very much like trying to be a long-term planner, like literally, like from the moment I was like 4 or 5, I was like, I want to be a doctor, but clearly that didn't happen, right? So my thing, like, 5 years is good to think about. I think about things more in the short term, like, what's going to happen in the next 6 months, a year, 2 years, things like that. But if I were to give you that kind of answers, my hope and my reality really I'm working towards, right, is kind of a reality where it will be either could be probably a great VC at a great VC firm somewhere. That's kind of where I'm focusing towards. But if there's an opportunity to build a great company too as a founder, like I'm taking the plunge as well. Right.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. And everything that you're doing right now seems to be in that direction. So I'm rooting for you. And the purpose of this conversation and this video series is to really highlight the amazing fellows that exist in our cohort. So yeah, thank you for chatting with me today, Godwin. And I hope to see you like in doing amazing things throughout.